Welcome back to the Moana Waterpark series. In today's episode, we're making waves as we design a brand new roller coaster station for our new surf coaster. From scratch to incredible immersive theming, this station is all about detail. I will walk you through the creative process of building the station, setting up the queue, and adding immersive decorations to tie it all into a Polynesian-inspired aesthetic of the park and Moana. So whether you're here for design inspiration or just love a good coaster build, grab your surfboard and let's get started. Alright everyone, welcome back, and as you can see we are going straight into the build here in today's video. First of all, I am making this a surf coaster here, and I do not have a lot of experience with these coasters. I've been on the one in SeaWorld pretty much, and I'm just trying to getting a quick layout done and just preparing it a little bit so I can just go straight in and design and detail our coaster station. So what you're seeing me doing here is a very quick sketch up of kind of the layout I want to have for this coaster, but that will be in part 2 also, where I will show you a little bit more footage of what I did here and also explain what my goal was with this layout. So don't put too much into it right now as we see here, because it is still in the process of being built. Like the smoothness, the banking, there's a lot of things that still needs a little bit of final touches here and there, but you will see in the background sometimes just some things appear a little bit. But enough of that, let's get into the station build. Okay, so very exciting today what we're doing, guys. So we are pretty much building a Polynesian-inspired station. As you saw last video, we built the food court, and before that we built the Kakamora flat ride, and we are still trying to keep in that tropical Polynesian Moana inspired vibe. So that is what we're doing today as well. My inspiration today was pretty much just a lot of pictures again that I kind of mix and match up and kind of build something out of this to get a full picture. And it's always fun to do that, and I can recommend doing that and just have some sort of a concepts going in your mind before you kind of start these builds. Because coaster stations, if you're going a little bit this way here, like the more immersive and detailed way, coaster station can be quite intricate and complex in that way. If you look at more American generic theme parks that has these very basic stations, which also sometimes just do the job compared to the theming of the coaster. But in this case, I really want to go all the way here and theme this coaster to something sublime, like something superior. And with that said too, also the theming around the coaster too. So it's not only the station that will have the theming, and it's gonna be incredible when we are done here. And as I say, part 1 is us building and creating the queue and the roof here, as you can see as well, for the build. And this station was quite tricky to get this perfect shape roof going here. I did try it a little bit in the previous videos, but not as tricky as this one, because this one has a very crazy curve into it. To make it to be able to mirror this would have been amazing, but unfortunately you can't do that. So what I usually do is that I build one side first, as you can see here, where I get the full alignment proper, and I kind of just after that work it out, start theming it, because after here I can duplicate this section and kind of do 180 to the opposite side of the roof. Luckily here I have both of the roof on the same side are pretty much just identical, so it was pretty easy in that way to just get this right, because then you can just kind of duplicate it to the second, as you can kind of see me do here in a moment. But yeah, I'm fixing up the roof here with some different thatch roof, and also just kind of bending the wood a little bit here too, to kind of get some nice shaping to it. And sometimes you just gotta do that compared to taking some of the grid pieces. They are very tricky to work with, and you won't have as much freedom as you have here with these pieces. And that's pretty much what you can see me do here now. So to make this easier, I of course will now put in the thatch roof and connect both sides together. And I'm doing the thatch roof, as you can see, but I'm scaling them. I think these are the smallest. I can get them down on like 50%, and it really works here, because I wouldn't really recommend using the hay bales for this sort of build, because it's just too many pieces. Like, it's way too many pieces here, and I wanted to have this built a little bit high. Like, I wanted it to peek out from everything else in the park, even though it's kind of like based on the right side of the park. So it will be one of the first things you will see in the park when you enter, with the tropical mountain we have at the lazy river as well. But yeah, we are slowly moving into getting the roof completely done here of the shaping I kind of want. As you can see, there's a lot of different shaping going on, but luckily I could duplicate some of it to kind of like get this super nice effect of it. So we have the little triangular roof here in the center, and then we have the two left sides duplicated, and we have one single on the right, because on the right side I am building a tower, as you saw in the cinematics later on as well. And I know that this sort of build, like this build is not represented in the Moana movies, but it is definitely the style, and it's Polynesian, and I felt like that I needed to build something a little bit different. Because if you kind of look at the Moana movie and stuff, like the cabanas, like the thatch huts they live in, are pretty much the same, and I just don't want to have a lot of the same stuff all the way around the park here. And also, having a coaster in the first place was not on the agenda, but I kind of like had a little bit of creativity, and I thought I would try out the coaster builder for a change as well. And but more of that in the other video, where I will talk a little bit about my experience with that and all that stuff. Also the customization of the coaster train and like all the theming that will go into it. So, but pretty much this is the Wayfinder, right? And as you know, it's super nice. It's the we have the ship, and then we have a lot of different kind of touches here and there of like the Moana and the colors we can get and all that stuff. And it's just, I'm just trying to get as much effect of that into this build here, like so it symbolizes at least Moana as well. And I also watched the sequel recently, and it definitely also popped a few ideas into my head, but nothing too fancy. I still want to keep on with my plan of getting the Tamatoa layer for the lock flume, and then we're gonna have like a big wave pool as well. Maybe we can incorporate something from the new one in there. But yeah, as I said, this is gonna be like somewhat of a shorter series. I'm going for maybe 10-12 episodes, and we are right now I think in number 6 or 7. So as you can hear, this one will be in 2 obviously, and then we will do the wave pool next time I think, and then I think we will end off the series with the dog ride for the lock flume, and it's gonna be super fun. I also have a little flat ride I also kind of want to try out and do as well. So yeah, we'll still have a few more water features and stuff into it. But as you can see here as well, here I try to add a little bit of like stuff on the top here. I really like these pointers you can put on thatch roofs that kind of like makes them like they are connected, so it gives like this super nice cross on the top, and it just adds a lot of detailing to the roof. And I can definitely recommend do that yourself if that's one thing you are going to do. So as you can see here, I'm pretty much just duplicating the triangular kind of like style I did there, with all the factors and theming inside of here. You see I use the shields as decorative pieces too. So I pretty much just layer it up as I did on the front there, and duplicating this to left and right side just to make it nice and just very similar to each other. You know, like I have an opening on the front, but here I kind of like close it all off and kind of like make it look nice, so you don't get all these duplicates of thatch roofs that you can see through through the builds and stuff. So it's kind of like sometimes to just cover up your flaws and mistakes. You don't have to fix them. You can kind of like just cover them. And yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing, definitely. But yeah, as you can see, duplicating it, so I have it on both sides here, and it just makes the whole build already now feel finished, you know. So so now we are on to the more funnier part too. Now we are in the whole station built here, and I was like, what can I do? What can I add here to kind of like keep it at the same vibe? And I kind of like had a cool ideas with these pieces here, and I gotta say, sure, it is Viking pieces, but I have not used these Viking pieces whatsoever for anything Viking yet. I know my theme is kind of like this style here, with that can kind of like get incorporated with Viking, like with the whole like Moana and like a lot of the Polynesian, like, you know, wood trims and stuff. So it goes hand in hand very well together. So I feel like I'm pretty happy for having this Viking pack theme in the game, especially for this sort of theme. I will eventually try out some Viking stuff, but right now I'm really having fun with this Polynesian and the Viking pieces, because you do not have to use them for that, as you can see me explaining here and using as well. So so yeah, it's a really good tip, and I think you can just like, if you just look beyond sometimes what the pieces are for, you can use them for a lot more things. A lot of versatile pieces in this build here. But now we are going to the part that's gonna make this build for me stand out like a lot. This is the tower, and here I'm using mostly the bamboo pieces, as you can see, and then I am just trying to use a little bit of Viking pieces, just trying to mix and match some stuff here to kind of see where does it take me. And I'm using the wood trims as well here, because they have been my all-time favorite pieces now, since they are so small and you can make them so tiny with the scaling, and it just really adds a lot when you have this sort of options with some pieces. Texture wise, they're not the best, but it works, it does the job. But yeah, this is the fun part. As I said, this is the tower here. I had a lot of trial and errors. Like what you see here might just look like I did it like in one go, but trust me, there is a lot of trial and errors with this build, and I got frustrated because there was just some things with this, like the axis, the world axis just didn't work here, and I was just like, I've never experienced it being so buggy before, and it really took a little bit of extra time, as it should have, unfortunately, to get this right. But eventually I got it right, at least acceptable. So so I just kept on like, you know, being stubborn and just trying to fix it. I even restarted the game just to see if that was an issue with it, because I've never experienced that before. So it was very but anyways, we moving on here. As you can see, I took the thatch top spire and I literally did it 300 scale, so it actually fits for this sort of build that I have in mind to do here. So you can see it's very like a little bit wonky, because I wanted to kind of like be part of this too. But then in the start here afterwards, when I first got the whole circle around it, I felt like it was a little bit too high for what I wanted to have it for. So I went in and I skipped it down just a little level of it, removed the first top bamboo piece to so it could kind of get a little bit less, because it just didn't look right, you know. And it looks a lot better like this now. It's not so tall as I wanted it to be, but it also just have the perfect height now. And I also scaled it up a little bit because wasn't really feeling the whole vibe of it, because it was way too small first when I built it. So luckily I used scale pieces, all of them, so I could literally just like scale out this spiral tower that I did here, and finally found the perfect result of it. So yeah, I know I haven't mentioned it every day, but well, at least in the all the videos, that the scaling in this game is just so superior, man. Like it's crazy. and I can only recommend this game if you haven't played it yet, or if you're like doubting yourself if you should. Go play it, try it out. I'm telling you, you're gonna get surprised on what you can actually achieve in this game. So yeah. But we are here at the end of the top spire here, at least as you can see. It looks really well. Like, it looks really nice here. And then afterwards I attach it with some ropes and stuff. And also what you have to remember here, as I said, like, this is a 2-part video. So the whole backside of this build, more or less, is kind of like still a work in progress, you know. But eventually we will theme it so it is 100% finished for next video. And I will also put out a POV of the coaster when we are finished with it, and it will also be next time. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm adding a little bit of canopies here, some sunshades and stuff, because I thought that was kind of cool. And then filling up some rocks here, because now it's the fun part that starts. See, I built it up here, but I was like, I don't really know how to get this down to the ground level and kind of like make it look nice together. So I was like, okay, if I put some sunshades here and we do some rock formations, we kind of like make it feel like it's on a little rocky mountainside or something like that. And the more I kind of added to this, the more I kind of liked the idea and kind of like saw it in front of me, and I was like, okay, this is definitely something I can work with. So as you can see here, using the Viking wall decorations, the stone trims, to kind of like add in and just remove the edge of the pads for the queue. And then afterwards I'm just rocking it all up pretty much and just trying to make it looking nice and somewhat like, I guess, man-made rock formations, because this is sort of a theme water park. We're trying to keep it somewhat realistic, so I guess in some way this will just be like a massive rock formation made of the park itself, you know. So it will obviously not be perfect, and there will be a little bit of stuff. So yeah, I guess we can say it's a very high budget little sister park to like one of the Disney's sort of thing that is only focused on the Polynesian vibe and the Moana movies. But yeah, I mean, I'm super happy for how this turned out. And as you can see, like, the more we add, the more actually it actually just makes sense, is kind of what I'm trying to say. And I was improvising pretty hard here with just kind of like what I could do. So I was like, okay, so let's do some rocks falling into this little build here, and then rock formations on top of it, and then we can do some arches and kind of like have the queue going in and out here. The queue I also change eventually, and everything else just that comes with it will also get a little bit of detailing. Unfortunately, I thought I recorded next up here some little detailings and stuff, but I didn't, so it kind of like just gives a little jump over to the exit path that I also add a little bit of touch on. Like, it's nothing too fancy there, honestly. The most fancy part of this build is 100% the station, and I just love the side of it and like how it's just so high above a lot of the other things in the park, and it feels so majestic, and it's just nice to have that right next to the lazy river and to the mountain. So we really have a very cool composition in the whole park. And also with having more stuff added in the background of the whole park will also do a lot of stuff. But yeah, I'm super satisfied on how this build turned out. Like, as I said, I went in it and like had a few ideas in mind, and slowly A, B, C, and D kind of like got together, and now it's just, I just really love how this looks, and also how I've find a way to integrate the queue with this like high station placement, and it works, man. Like, it really works, and I'm super happy for that. But yeah, now we are doing the sign here, and I was like, okay, we need the sign obviously to be in front of people when you go, before you go straight in and ride it. So obviously Wayfinder, and we're adding a little bit of detailing to it here, just kind of like playing around with all these cool basic shapes, and adding a little bit of foliage, and then kind of like everything kind of like goes goes well here as well. Adding in a little bit of corals and some water elements too, because, you know, and the whole ride itself too, guys, just FYI, is gonna have a lot of water elements. Like, I already have it planned out perfectly how it's gonna be, and I'm gonna tell you about all of this while I build it in the next video. So this will be most likely the only coaster in this park. I feel like since it was a surf coaster and it was a new coaster in the game, I feel like we could kind of like sneak it in here, you know, in a way, and have some fun with it, and have a little bit of extra than just water features in this park. So yeah, there was kind of little of a nice little idea. So I'm hoping that you guys like this too, and how like it looks in the park now. And as I say, Loch Flume will be the other like track dock ride we will add in, and then we will have the wave pool, and then maybe we'll add a slide or two more, and then a few shops and stuff. But we are moving towards the end now, friends. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of queue work in here. Basically, I'm just doing some quick stuff, covering up the rocks, making it feel like you're kind of like in a little grotto, but also not, you know, and moving around and adding it a little bit of ceiling planks here too, just to cover up the stuff I don't want to see above it, you know. And then afterwards we are adding in this little trick here that I learned in Planet Coaster 1. Obviously, you can pretty much do your own railings to your queues here by just adding them first and then adding your own onto them, and then afterwards you just go in and you kind of delete them again, and then you get like a very perfect kind of cattle pin here, as you can see. And I love that. I love that about it. It's super cool, and it just makes it look a little bit more cleaner, you know. So just to add a little bit extra to the queue, I'm just finishing it up here, closing in these arches, and then adding in a little bit of clutter, and then fixing up a little entrance arch to this, and then I think we are pretty much done with today's build. And that wraps up another episode in our Moana Waterpark series. The Wayfinder coaster station is now ready to welcome guests, and I couldn't be happier with how the theming turned out. In the next video, part 2, we will design and theme our roller coaster, the Wayfinder coaster. As you've already seen in the back, a few teasers of something I've worked on, but we will also look into more theming and how to make an immersive experience in that. That will be in the next video. If you like the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep up with all my Planet Coaster 2 content. And let me know in the comments what you'd like to see in this series, or if you have any tips for coaster station designs. I'd love to hear your ideas. So thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!